Hi, everybody. Dr. Karen Gordon here. We are talking about social media, how social media can ruin relationships. It doesn't have to, but it many times, unfortunately, it does. We're going to be talking about social media and how it really impacts relationships and kind of like the dark side of social media on your relationships. Okay, so I've been doing this work for many years. We're going to be talking about social media. It's an amazing tool, but it can certainly it has a dark side. I've been doing this for a long time on the personal side with families and also with businesses as well. And so talking around social media on your relationships. Okay, so I'm going to give you five as we kind of dive into it. So the first one, and again, I think a lot of this is going to be kind of intuitive, but you just kind of want to ask yourself, do these five kind of impact you? So the number one I would say is the comparisons, right? The comparisons when we see people on social media, the instinct is that we start comparing ourselves to them. We start comparing ourselves to them, and a lot of times people are putting their most perfect, wonderful pictures, and that it's not reality, okay? Like it's not reality. And so all of a sudden, it's like we see this perfect picture and we start comparing ourselves, and all of a sudden we don't feel that great about ourselves. And so, it's a dark side. It's kind of a dark side of social media. So that's kind of like number one. I would actually say that's probably one of the most important downsides of actually social media. And again, listen, there's lots of positive sides. We're going to get to that in a second, but that's just one thing you want to be mindful for. Number two is miscommunication. Sometimes, again, if we see friends that, somebody has posted something on social media and all of a sudden we might, if we see it, but we weren't invited, and maybe we misinterpret that. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they don't value me. So all of a sudden it can really, depending with what people are posting and sharing, it can really cause a lot of miscommunication because we're kind of connecting the dots. Maybe we don't understand the context. We don't understand, why some people were invited and other people were not invited. So it can really lead to a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding, and can cause a lot of problems, okay, in our relationships. So miscommunication would be number two. And one of the things that we do as an organization is we teach leadership skills for both businesses and families. And so communication is obviously a really, really important skill set. We have a wonderful scorecard to help you manage your communication and give and receive feedback. So if you would like to receive that, and it's a free scorecard to kind of help you assess your own level of communication. Just below in the comments, type in communication, and somebody from our team will get that to you. But it's a great little scorecard to kind of test your own communication skills. Okay, so that's the dark side. Number two is miscommunication. Number three, again, just ask yourself how many of these can you really connect to. Number three is just excessive time wasted. Ask yourself how much time on you on social media. I actually love it when my phone actually says, Karen, you have watched X amount of minutes or on your phone. It's such a great metric because it's like, woo, wow, like it's amazing, right? It can really kind of add up in terms of how much time we're on our social media. And again, social media is not all bad. We just want to be kind of mindful on the dark side, things we have to be careful for. So excessive time. Number four, for some people, it's addictive. Like they literally can't stop it. And so addiction is, there's a lot of different things we look at when we actually look at addiction. But two really quick things that I look for as a mental health provider is, can the person stop if they want to stop something? And or is it negatively impacting their life in some shape or form? Okay, those are the two kind of quick things I look at, whether or not somebody is kind of on that spectrum in terms of addiction. And so for some people with social media, it for sure can be an addiction. If they can't put it down and if it's negatively impacting their life, then we've got to be really, really, really careful about that. And the last one is a distorted reality. It's just, and it kind of goes a little bit around from the first type as well, but it's that this isn't reality. Like when people are putting all their perfect pictures and everything looks great and they're, the pictures are like perfect and they're, everything is so, it's not reality. And so it can really create enormous amount of discontent with a person. Okay, so that's a fifth one that is a really dark side of social media. Okay, so that's kind of, again, it's good for us to kind of be mindful of that. The second part, though, and again, I really want all of my videos to really certainly help us and educate us, but really with the tone around encouragement and action. What can we do to help ourselves? That's always going to be the posture that I really want to have with all of our videos that we do. And so while it's good to understand potential dark sides, there is some beautiful things that can happen with social media. One is it's a wonderful way to stay connected to people that are dear to us. Make sure that we are selective in terms of who we follow, and that is kind of like part of our group. And ask yourself, do they kind of inspire? Do they cheer us on, or they actually pull us down? And so just be really careful in terms of who you're following and being kind of mindful for it. And then the last one is just put a limit on it. Put a limit in terms of how much time you want to allow yourself to be on social media. Some people give them their limits like 15 minutes a day. Others like 30 minutes a day. Other people say, I'm not going to look at it at all during the week, only on the weekends. Like, figure out what your own boundary is. I'm not here to tell you what your boundary should be, but I just think it's really important that we are all managing our social media instead of our social media managing us, okay? And that is a really, really important thing. So again, hopefully this video has just helped you kind of maybe think outside the box a little bit, and just kind of looking at your own relationship with social media and what you maybe need to do to help yourself in terms of your overall well-being. So be sure to like our YouTube channel, and if you have an idea a topic that you would like me to cover, definitely let me know. You can share it below. And like I said, if you would like to get that communication one pager and to see how well you're doing with your communication, make sure you just put down communication below, and somebody from our team will send that to you. Thanks, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you on one of our other YouTube videos.